Hello, everyone, and welcome to Vet Talk. This is our monthly call that we look forward to all month. I'm Juliana Coles, and today I'm broadcasting from Scottsdale, Arizona. Not my home, but my mother's home. And I've got my wonderful team here. A few people out, not here this week, but we've got an all-woman crew, so we're proud of that. I'm going to start with some introductions. Then we're going to go over to my co-host, Linda Ty, and she's going to tell you all about details of the call. And then we're going to go over to our beloved Dr. Scarlett. And Dr. Scarlett's only going to be able to be here for half the call. So she's going to be doing the second quarter, if you will. And then we're going to go and get here a few stories that we have already lined up. And then we're going to open the lines at the end for all of you. So we hope to have time to hear all of your stories. All right, so I want to start off with Dr. Scarlett is a regenerative veterinarian. Her bio goes on and on and on, all her degrees, all the awards she's had, but she was one of the founding members of this team and really one of the inspirations behind this call in the first place. And we all have so much gratitude to her for all that she brings. Something that you all probably don't know about her, she created a national One Health veterinary training program. Beginning in Kenya, she worked with the Kenya Wildlife Service, the University of Nairobi Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, county governments, and various conservancies to increase the number of wildlife veterinarians serving these countries. She also founded Vet Angels, a network of veterinary specialists to help veterinarians in remote areas to navigate challenging cases. Her efforts were recognized by the American Veterinary Medical Association, honoring her with the 2023 AVMA Global Veterinary Service Award. So we have a star in our midst, and her never-ending service to all of us is so valued. She currently runs the Regenerative Sanctuary in Aspen, Colorado. And then we have Diane Garrett. And I think I finally said it right.
Yay.
Yeah. Diane also has an illustrious background. She's a professional canine trainer. She's fully accredited, a fear-free certified. She's the Guild certified Tellington Touch practitioner. Know about Tellington's work. It's something to look into. And she has a degree in communication and journalism. She's a founding member of the Pet Professionals Guild, the Association of Force-Free Pet Professionals. And she's the owner of Canine Transformations, Learning, Education, and Production in Langley, Washington. She's celebrating 19 years full-time working with behavior issues. She started in January 2006. And she believes education and development. And we thank her so much for being here, especially at a very sensitive time for her. And then we have truly the engine behind this call, Maggie Hall. She is a lifelong animal advocate, a healer, and a proponent of the ethical treatment of all animals. She believes that animals will lead their humans to the light. She's a networker, a writer, an artist, and a researcher, and she shares her life with two frisky felines and two older mares. And my co-host Linda Ty, who's an amazing woman, and she's from the Boston area. She's an artist, a painter, and a sculptor. That's her background. And she studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and she's been involved in biologics and lots of other cutting-edge technologies in holistic health. So you are all so lucky to have these wise people here to share their wisdom with you. And now I just want to turn it over to Linda.
All right, thank you, Juliana. So I'm just going to go over just a few of the ground rules and then tell you about how this patch technology works briefly. So just so you know, there's a patch called AccuLife, and it is the only patch that has been tested and cleared on animals. And just please be mindful of your cameras. If you're moving or traveling, just turn them off. It's kind of hard to see people moving all around. And kindly limit your sharing to essential elements so more stories can be shared. We find that we have a lot of people that have some amazing stories to share. We want to try to get them all in. We aren't sharing the recording because we want to just make sure we maintain being compliant and people's privacy. And please bring your questions to the panel if they haven't already been addressed in the presentation. And please just remember, don't ask our practitioners for any medical advice. They cannot give you medical advice. And if you'd like to share, ask a question, the best way to do it is to go to the bottom of your Zoom screen and hover over the little hand, raise hand. If you click on that, it takes your image to the top of the screen so we can see you better. If you just raise your hand like this, that's okay, but it'll be harder to find you. So the easiest way is to do the raise hand icon at the bottom. And just so you know, this information shared here is for educational purposes only. We are not here to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. And please consult with your veterinarian or health practitioner. So how these patches work. So we're talking about these little patches, looks, like a little Band-Aid, but it is not. It is actually a form of phototherapy. And you already know how phototherapy works, right? Because you know that when you go out in the sun, you get your vitamin D. But how does that happen? That happens because when the light of the sun hits your skin, it actually activates these photoreceptor cells, and their job is to transmit that message to your body. And so they understand that that frequency of the sunlight means elevate vitamin D. So that's the message that they send, and your body responds, and your body elevates vitamin D. Well, these patches work the same way. And I take the back off. What's in the center here is an organic crystal lattice. It's made out of amino acids, sugars, salts, and a proprietary blend, right? And that's between two hypoallergenic polymer layers. Nothing goes in your body. These are non-transdermal. They're not a patch that lets something go into your bloodstream. They're non-transdermal. But when I put them on my, I'm going to put it here, put it on my body, what happens is all the cells in your body communicate through light. It's light that comes out of our DNA, and they're all sending signals, and that's a very, very powerful light. It is so powerful that we emit that light from our bodies, even though it's not the kind of light we can see. But what happens when I put this crystal lattice on my skin, that light that my body's emitting actually hits those crystals, and then they reflect back my own body's light in a frequency that my cells understand. So depending on the patch, it'll send a different frequency telling your body to elevate different biological processes, basically just stimulating your body's ability to heal itself. And here on Vet Talk, we honor the silent wisdom of animals and the quiet brilliance of light. We're here to share powerful stories through healing and with tools that speak directly to the body's energy and bypass belief altogether. And why we love this so much too is because animals don't need to believe to feel better. They simply respond. So I think you're going to really be blown away, as we are, about what you're going to learn about how animals can heal, and we can as well. So thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
All right. And now we're going to turn it over to Dr. Scarlett.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. It's lovely to be here with such enthusiastic animal lovers. I wanted to share two very different compelling cases with you and give you an idea of the variety of applications that these patches can work for. It's pretty much limitless because these patches are activating the body's innate ability to heal. So I honestly can't think of any condition that they wouldn't be appropriate for, because our body's natural inclination is to heal, and that goes for anything with the spine. So the first case I wanted to share with you is Matthew. He is a 12-year-old Yorkshire Terrier who presented to me in November with stage 4 lymphoma. So he has cancer in all of his organs, and the owners didn't want to do any type of conventional Western protocols, and so we put Matthew on all the patches, and the main thing to just remember is that the X39 is going to do what all the patches do, but if you want to boost the capacity of certain aspects, you can add different patches. And you really don't need to get that fancy, but in this particular case, I did because of the stakes that were in the field. And Matthew, miraculously, after a year, is still with us. The owners weren't sure if he was going to continue. I mean, they were just kind of like shocked that it was August and he's still here and still going for his little walks, like less and less energy. But so the owners just decided to stop the patches for whatever reason. And the point of that is that this little fellow with such a dire diagnosis with a 3 months prognosis has managed to gracefully still be here and has a very calm demeanor, which is really important for me, is to eliminate anxiety. And I would say patches are really effective at that, and enabling sleeping throughout the night and just bringing more of a balance, that yin yang that we so need, that our energy fields have kind of forgotten. And we've been so much in the yang, the craving the sun and being active and go, go, go. And that creates a toll on the body. The second case I have is Yoda, who is a 3-year-old mutt, little mixed dog. He had to go to the emergency room because he had vomited over 40 times and was having diarrhea. And the owner was really in a pinch with what to do. Overnight hospitalization was recommended. It was way out of her budget. And so that dog received fluids and some anti-nausea medication and went home. And so that dog was started on X39 once a day for 12 hours. And he made a very quick recovery. So the following day, he was still really out of it, which is natural, having just been to the ER for shock therapy. And he had halved his diarrhea episodes and the vomiting was stopped, but he did have that nausea injection. And then the second day, he really came back around and started eating, and his energy levels were pretty much normal. The owner was ecstatic. And so I used to be an emergency veterinarian for 16 years, and seeing a case like this is very compelling to see what's possible when there are no alternatives. And so I think when you're in those situations, maybe you're traveling, you're in a foreign country, or you just are in a remote area, and there's just no access to a hospital or a vet, the patches can be very helpful to make a bridge between the time that you can get to see a vet, or maybe not. Maybe they've helped the animal heal themselves. So I am gonna be around for another 15 minutes, and so I'm happy to have Juliana manage the call however she wishes, and if I can help with any questions. It's been a privilege to be here. I will be departing the show. I have too much obligations with my new healing center. I do virtual telemedicine consults if anyone is interested, if I can help in any way. And thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Scarlett. Again, we've just gained so much knowledge and inspiration from you, and all your service is greatly, greatly appreciated. And hopefully you'll come back and visit every once in a while. So if someone did ask in the chat, please explain all the patches and how did you do that on a tiny Yorkie?
I can briefly go through them. So again, remember like X39 is the master patch, and so it's going to do a lot of the things that I'm saying. But if you know you have a specific issue and you want to hone in on that, then either adding that patch uh, to help, or you can just add it onto your X39. So the carnosine patch is remarkable in how many things it can do. So everything I'm saying is from my own research of learning about carnosine as a peptide and what it does in the body. And so once you know what these peptides do, you can understand how the patches work. And so because there's no claims that can be made with the patches, what I'm saying is not available on the website. So I spent months researching these and seeing through my own cases how applicable and real what I'm saying is. So carnosine is great for organ regeneration, so liver, kidney. It's great for eye health and nervous system regeneration, and it does have a pain component as well, and it's also very good for muscle injuries or muscle repair. So the heart is a studied organ that you can find some phenomenal research by Dr. Kneller, Kneller, and he's presented the data on the carnosine patch to the American Medical Association. So we're making some headway in validating these with third party people that have nothing to do with the company that just want to prove that they work. So we're not quite there yet with the animals, but I'm sure one day we will be. So Eon is your master anti-inflammatory, so that activates the royal jelly peptide that the queen bee makes, and she on average lives 40 times longer than the drone. So knowing that it's an anti-aging patch, you're naturally going to be decreasing inflammation and healing, because that is the main culprit of aging. So the more we can bring inflammation down, the more we can calm the body and allow it to heal. So you can always add Eon for anything. And then the other support patch is glutathione. So you may have heard of glutathione or NAD for oral absorption. So NAD is the precursor to glutathione, and it's a master antioxidant, especially for the liver. So it's really going to help the liver out, because the liver is the master detoxification organ in the body for any mammal. So if we're dealing with a massive infection or heavy metals, glutathione is great, but I will caution the need to be careful with it if you're using it for detox, because you can have literal detox symptoms, vomiting, diarrhea, which are expected, but they can be alarming to see. So you just want to be a little careful with that one. If you know that you have a detox need, I would just go easy with it and maybe start with some of the other patches before you add that in. And then your pain patch that Juliana mentioned is AccuLife, which is the exact same patch as IceWave. So if you have IceWave, you can certainly put it on your animal, and the brown patch goes where you think the pain is the greatest, and then the white patch goes in a border perimeter to stop the pain pathways, like the pain in a local area to help heal. And then your X49 is the sister patch to X39. So that's activating a peptide called AHKCU. And so it's alanine, and X39 is glycine, GHKCU. And X49 is really good for bone regeneration and muscle repair and performance. So if you have like any kind of sports dog, it's great for that. The only other thing I forgot to mention about glutathione, it's also very good for joints and cartilage. So if there is you just have like an achy a limp or something, it's really good to put the glutathione right where you think the pain is, so on the knee or on the spine. I saw hip dysplasia, so this is having incongruent hip joints that aren't able to stay properly in the hip sockets, and there's like some cartilage that's losing its thickness. So the glutathione, the X39, and the Eon are really good for that. And again, just remembering your X39 is your foundational patch, because it's going to recruit and activate stem cells, which are the repair cells that enable tissue to become fresh new tissue.
Thank you, Scarlett.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody's also asking where you put the patches. Did you just put them all under the collar or other places on them?
So there is a very wide application of options, and I'll also Diane's also really good at a different technique than what I'm going to tell you. She's a master with the ACE bandage. So I have had owners place patches directly on where we feel the injury is highest. So if it's like a limp on the dog's limping on a back leg and the knee's like kind of up in the air, you can put it on the knee or you can put it on the hip. The behind the neck or between the eyes are like major highway points. So if you're looking for more of like a global dissemination of the healing, then putting it on top of the head between the ears is a really safe place, especially for cats, because they can get a little finicky and want to flick the patches off sometimes. So I usually start with between the between the ears, so the animal gets used to it, and eventually they create an association between the healing energy they're receiving and the patch, and they 8 times out of 10 are fine with it. The 2 out of 10 that aren't, you can have a bandana and have the patches on the inside. So the patches only need to be 3 inches away from the body. So it gives a lot of leeway of what kind of creative things you can do. You can also have like a t-shirt or a costume. So Matthew had like a long shirt. And so he would have patches on the inside, kind of close to his underarms, and then on his abdomen, and then on the top of the back. So there's really no wrong place you could put it. It's just getting it onto the animal is like priority number 1. And then these other like acupressure points, which you'll find the charts on the website that Juliana shared in the chat. And so you can spend your time studying those acupressure points and just using your intuition to try them out. So
Thank you, Dr. Scarlett. Yeah, you cannot make a mistake with where you put the patch. So really, it's more of a question of getting them on so they stay on. And a lot of people, I know people who have bandanas, they put around the neck and they wrap them in the bandana. You can put them on the collar, on the inside or the outside of the collar. If they wear a tag, you can place them on the tag. There's a lot of creativity that's involved, and it's fun. It makes it fun. So I know we have someone, Cheryl, with her hand up for a long time. So maybe she wants to ask something directly of Dr. Scarlett. Let's take her question, and then I'm going to turn it over to Maggie for the next part of the call with sharing. Cheryl?
Oh, wow.
Did you have a question or a comment?
Oh, gosh. Yes, yes, yes. I do. Yeah, I do. I didn't have I actually just wanted to share. I'm so sorry. I'm technologically terrible. Dr. Scarlett, that was incredible. No, I just wanted to share some things that just happened with me literally like in the past couple weeks. I have a like a 2,500 pound steer. I'm an animal sanctuary. And this has been a really big, long, many, many years of issues with his feet. And I finally got a good farrier to come over here like 2 weeks ago and found that he had an ulcer. And I mean, I've been doing all kinds of stuff. And I have to be honest with you, I totally forgot about the patches. I don't know why, because I've been using them for 6 years. But I just used them, started using the AccuLife on him, and he is making so much great progress. It's been a miracle. So I also have many, many game hens, the animals that people use to fight with, cockfighting industry. And they do, they fight. So we just got home, my dog and I, and it was dark, starting to get dark. And I hear my dog barking, 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 and he runs over, and the two of them are having a fight. So I figured it out what was going on, and I grabbed one. Now, this has happened before. I wrapped him up in a towel and I put an X39 on him, and he is like doing so great. It's been really miraculous. And I have wiped my cat. It's a kind of a long story, but I because you said that, I just realized I should do that because he actually does take the patch off of his head. He does swipe it off him, and it bugs me. I use the glutathione on him, but I just put, while you guys are on the phone, just put an X39 on a bandana and laid it on his body. So thank you so much, Dr. Scarlett and Juliana. Yeah, so I've had many, many miracles happen to me. And so I just wanted to attest to that as a non-vet person, but as a sanctuary person, I just absolutely love them. So sorry for being so technologically crappy.
No
It's been
problem, Cheryl.
really
Thank
amazing.
you. And bless
Thank
you
you
for the work
guys.
that you do with the animals.
It's been so beautiful. So beautiful. My dog actually has a broken knee, and she's, like she's good. She can, run around. I actually had the vet that recommended the patches to me like 20 years ago, which I didn't listen to. He told me not to amputate her leg. I sent him a video when I was adopting her because I helped her entire family. And when I went to go adopt her, the shelter wanted to amputate her leg. And I was like, no. And I sent a video, and he was like, no, no, make sure that doesn't happen. And of course he's right. They totally need that. And she's runs like crazy all the time. I mean, she's like 10 years old, and she has an X39 on every, an X39 or glutathione or an AE on her all the time, like just one or the other. She's miraculous. So thank you for listening. And I'm so grateful for these calls. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, Maggie.
Thank you. We want more sanctuaries to be using the patches. So tonight we have three wonderful women that two of them are new to us, and one is our own Diane Garrett, and she's going to share first about her heart dog Valor. Diane?
Yes. Hi, everyone. These are amazing people sharing stories today, and I'm going to miss you, Dr. Scarlett. Please, I hope that you'll come back and make appearances. But yes, it's 5 weeks today that I lost my heart dog, which is um, because he went everywhere with me and we did everything. And he's traveled to 33 states and more than a person might do in a lifetime. And he's helped many hundreds of people and their dogs over time. And he was 14 and 2 months when he passed away. The story is that 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. And a litter mate had passed away of stomach cancer just prior, the last litter mate. So Valor outlived his litter mates by 2 years because of the patches. The doctor said it would be days before we might have to put him down at that point 2 years ago. And Maggie gathered me up and you know, she said, try this, and I did. And there's no turning back from it because he was more energized. He was walking fine. He was going upstairs and jumping on the bed and doing all kinds of things for 2 years. And as the 2 years approached, he was getting a bit slower and walking slower. And so he had some arthritis, and a drug was recommended to me. I don't normally give my dogs drugs, but this time I was in a vulnerable position and I agreed to an injection. And it literally poisoned his system. And I really believe that it's important to have success markers so that you can see like lab work. So I have pre and post lab work from 2 years ago and pre and post lab work from this injection. All of his blood levels were normal for a senior, but I was already 2 days into the injection. If I had seen the lab report before, I would not have put him on this injection. And then progressively on day 3, he started having side effects, and he had 27 side effects that literally took his life. And I had to have him euthanized 5 weeks ago. It was a horrifying experience. The patches were enough for him. He didn't have to have any more. He was doing fine. He was aging gracefully. And would he have passed on at one point? Yes, probably, but more gracefully. So yeah, I miss him with all of my heart, and learned a lot in the process with the patches and with be careful with what you're giving your dog and really research it. So on that note, I was going to give a couple tips for you today as well, very briefly. I was going to do it with my shepherd. He's sleeping, so I believe in not waking up a dog if they're in deep REM, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to tell you that the first thing I'd like to share with you from a behavioral standpoint, and I'm author of Stress Release for Dogs, the Canine Emotional Detox, and in there I talk about detoxing the body from nutrition to now with the patches. And if I'm working with a behavioral issue, let's say over arousal, what I like to do is put Eon on top of the head. There's a calming point for dogs. So here's the ear, and go diagonal to the eye, and then the other ear diagonal to the other eye. And in that middle point, that's where the calming point is. And so then you can take the patch and put it right on that calming point, and it will start to calm the dog so that they can have less over arousal and be focused on what you're teaching them versus not able to listen. And then the second point I'd like to share is allergies. And German Shepherds are prone to allergies, and they can have ear allergies, and then they're licking their feet. Well, X39 on the collar, and then glutathione in that midpoint on the calming point really, really helped master allergies in quite a few dogs, plus my own. So those are 2 tips that I want to share with you. And of course, with allergies, something else is going on in the body. So you need to pinpoint the core reason why that's happening. And next time, I'd really like to talk about the digestion detox using the patches. But I'll save that for next time.
That'll be great, Diane. And that was such valuable information. Thank you so much. And now we have a new vet from Canada, Dr. Sylvia. Is it Weeb, Sylvia? Is that how you pronounce your last name? And how long have you been patching animals? And you'll need to unmute.
Okay, I just unmuted.
There
Can
you
you hear
go.
me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's my first time here and it's very interesting already. Um, so I started the patches in, I gotta think here now, 2023. So it'll be 2 years this December when I started. Um,
Mhm.
I was kind of introduced to them as, something that I could use for my practice.
Mhm.
And so I thought, well, okay. I was a little hesitant at first and wasn't sure, but I thought I'd give them a try. I had some clients that I thought I could use them on, and the first one was a dog that was having a lot of um, discomfort and agony in his back and his neck. He couldn't eat very well. He didn't want to go for walks. And when I saw him, he would walk very stiffly and very slowly. And of course, before before the patches, I was using the Western medicine and some steroids, and it would get him better for a while, and then he'd go backwards. Anyways, so the owner agreed to use the patches, and probably I used X39, and when I came back to give her some more patches, it was about 3 weeks to a month. This dog was like running around the furniture in the house. Like it was like magic. So since then I've used it on some other cases, and I think I sent you some samples of. So this is, oh, okay, whichever one you're gonna put first. Do the
This one
videos
okay
work on
first?
here?
Yep.
Yeah,
Here we go.
do the one on the left-hand side first.
On the left.
So that's a 10-year-old mixed breed dog that when I first saw it was a 3-legged lame dog with a torn ligament in its right hind leg. I referred it to the orthopedic surgery clinic in the city next to us. And the surgery was going to cost $5,000. And the owner said, no, she wasn't going to do it on a 10-year-old dog. And the referring clinic actually talked about some alternatives, some physio and nutrition. And so I thought, well, I'll talk to the owner again and see if she would be willing to use the patches on this dog. And she did. And I mean, this is the result. The dog is healed up, and we didn't do anything else. I mean, good nutrition, yes, and some rest and the patches. And this dog has, you can palpate that leg, and it's not enlarged. Like sometimes when you have when something heals, you kind of get lots of scar tissue, and things will be swollen for a while. And this dog doesn't have that. There's no pain in that leg, and she's just happy. Like she can run around and.
You want to show the other video?
Okay, yeah, do the next video. This is a different dog.
Oh.
This dog is also, I believe, 11 or 12 years old. When I saw that dog, it was in their house and it was hardly getting around. And when it did, it kind of really walked sideways.
Wow.
And they were willing to do some alternatives. So we did the patches. I believe I did I may have done the Eon first, and then we did X39. On the 3rd month, the owner said, like that's the video is from the 3rd month after being on the patches. And the dog is just walking around down the back alley like a new dog. They're really happy.
For sure. Look at that.
Don't want to get into trouble.
Right. Oops. Sorry, I didn't do that. Okay.
So it was 3-legged and now 4-legged. Happy.
Yeah.
Wagging the tail.
Yeah.
That's great. And did you have anything more to add?
So do you have the eye pictures?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Pictures of the horse?
Yes, the horse with the, oh,
Yes, I
be
do.
prepared for this one, the before. pic-
Yes.
Oh my God.
So this is a 29-year-old. Okay, there should be, this is what it looks like now, so we
Sorry.
need the before.
That's okay. The one with the three together.
Three
And
together, yeah.
yes, there you go.
Oof.
There.
Oh,
Oh,
So yeah, you can kind of see the progression. This horse is 29 years old, a quarter horse gelding. And so Saturday, September 27th is when I first saw the horse, but she had called me a few days earlier and I knew that she had patches. She had bought a lot of well, we call them ice wave up here, but the Aculife. So I told her to put just to try to get some of the swelling down off of that eyelid, to use the ice wave. So she did that. When I came there on Saturday, I did give it some anti-inflammatories, IV, and I did prescribe some ophthalmic drops, antibiotic, and an anti-inflammatory. And then we put the horse on X39, and I put it on his neck underneath of his mane. When we're talking about placements of patches, I just tell people to put them where they're not going to fall off or where the animal won't get them off. So the other thing I like to do with eyes is I draw blood from the animal, spin it down, take the serum, and use the serum as the ophthalmic treatment, because in the serum there are some stem cells. But now, since I've learned about the patches and I know about stem cells and how that we age and the stem cells age, I waited for a week on the X39 and then drew some blood, because I'm thinking that the master building cells in that serum are going to be healthier and more beneficial for helping the eye heal. So that's what we did. And then again, about 3 weeks later, I did some more blood from the horse. And so, like, this is a very deep corneal ulcer, you can see. And then there's some pictures that are missing. I've taken some more, but the iris actually protruded, like prolapsed through that,
wow.
the deep ulcer. So you can see it on that darker picture. It was kind of hard sometimes to get pictures of this horse because his eye was it was sore, so it was hard to open. So usually when you have an iris that prolapses through an ulcer, most veterinarians will enucleate the eye. But I was trying to save this eye, and I was kind of experimenting a little bit. Like, I'm watching this horse really closely. I go there every week. And so what's today, Monday? So the last picture was taken on,
Because I don't have it.
I guess I it's probably like 3 days ago that I took that picture. So you can see how the eye has really healed. He holds his eye open better. And I'm going to go there on Wednesday and draw some more blood and see the eye again. But that has healed up very well, and he gets to keep his eye.
That's a great story. Wow. So we'll keep updated on that. Thank you so much. And we have Dr. Cashel Southwick, who's a pharmacist and a horsewoman. So she has a great horse story to share with us. Same horse, two different stories.
Yeah, so I've patched my horses and my cats and my dogs and about 2,000 people and probably about 50 other animals. So lots of different stories, but I only had pictures to share today of my own. So I'd like to tell you just a little bit. So I patch the animals just like I would patch a human. So if they're suffering from something that might benefit from an immune response, like an antibiotic, then I would use glutathione to stimulate the immune system. And if they're struggling with inflammation, then I would use an Eon to combat the inflammation. And of course, every type of problem, whether it's inflammation or pain or anything, then those type of problems can be supported with the X39, because we know that our body can repair and regenerate any type of damaged cells when we have those master or stem cells activated. So I don't know which picture you have first for me. So this is Max. He is my Palomino gelding. He's my boy. We had a bad farrier, and he not only trimmed him too short, but the farrier actually ground off the hoof wall. And so his the wall was too thin. And sometimes when this happens, if it's really severe, they have to wear a cast, and you just have to wait for that whole nail. It's essentially like their fingernail to grow out. So the farrier left. He was immediately kind of lame or limping. It got worse as the day went on. And when I went out the next morning, he was laying down. And Max is kind of the fearful type. He's half Arab and half paint, which means he has no brains. And well, or that he's a dumb blonde, one of the two. But he doesn't let me get close to him when he's laying down. And so I went in his stall and I got to snuggle him, and I was like, this is amazing. I kind of like this. And I was like, why aren't you getting up? And then I realized that right front foot was really painful. So I got him up and I walked him out to the pasture, and immediately, you can see the red gate behind him. Immediately, he laid back down. He didn't walk over to get breakfast. He didn't want to go graze, nothing. And I thought, oh dear, I better go get some Bute to give him some pain relief. And as I was walking in the house, I thought, where's my coffee grinder to grind up the Bute tabs? And I thought, wait a minute, I should patch him. So I put an Eon on the front of the hoof, and I put Ice Wave on the left and right sides of the hoof. He would not even get up to let me patch him. I had to pull that foot. That's why it's kind of on an awkward angle underneath of him. I had to pull it to get him to lift it up enough so that I could get the patches on. And I walked away, and he still laid down, and I thought, well, I better go get that Bute. So I go in the house and get the Bute ready. I come back out, and I don't know if you have the video, but he is standing. Oh, no, that's a different part of him.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that part in a minute. But he's standing here on the right, and happily, comfortably supporting his body weight on that foot. And then the video, and you're probably going to hear me call to him, but the video to the left is him that evening. And if you're not a horse person, you might not notice that he's even off, but he is trotting almost square, like he is not off at all, trotting back to the barn. So just a dramatic transformation. The rest of the story is that he wore Ice Wave and Eon and X39 for about 5 days. We actually went up and rode in the rocks up at our cabin, and he never took an off step. So I really got lucky with that. I use them all the time for horses that are lame. Lots of issues. The black horse that you see, even though he looks like he's a young man, he is actually 31 years old. I take my patches off every day after I wear them, and I put them on them at dinner time, or on him rather, at dinner time. And he doesn't act like a 31-year-old. He acts like probably a 15-year-old. I like to tease and say we're both in denial of our age, but he's still rideable. My kids ride him. My nieces ride him. If you follow me on social media, you'll see lots of video of him because he is my baby. So at 31, he's still he's pretty much a rock star. So he looks really good. So if you want to move on to the picture of Max's sheath.
Very dramatic story coming up.
So this is this is the start of what we call a summer sore or somewhat like an abscess. So, so in the summer here in Arizona, it gets really hot and the flies come out and just things get irritated. And on Max's sheath, he had about a golf ball size abscess, and the flies were going crazy, and it had broken open, and it wasn't totally open. It was just about like a pinhole opening, so I could express just a little bit of pus from it, but it was pretty tender, and he didn't really want me touching it. The left side is actually 2 days later. So I patched him on the right here with, well, actually, I think I'm going to tell you in the video. Okay, all 3 patches are on. Well, actually 4, and then I see one's coming off on this side. So, all right, I've got these patches all on. Let's see how this goes. So this was actually a Friday afternoon, and I thought, you know, especially on a light-skinned Palomino, everything is just a lot more dramatic on them. So I thought I'm going to give this to the weekend because I didn't want to pay the emergency vet call. And literally in 2 days is when I'm grabbing it and squeezing it, and there is very little to any abscess left in that. I patched him for about 5 days and it was completely gone. I have about 17,000 pictures on my phone, so I wasn't able to find the video where it's the final one 5 days later, but completely healed him. Just so grateful. I was telling Maggie earlier, I think my savings in vet bills alone has paid for my family's entire patch experience for the last 3.5 years. Like, these have saved me so much money. We had cats get sick. Not sure what they got into. They're barn cats. Both of them went down on the same day, so I'm thinking they probably ate something bad. Both of them were sick. It was Christmas Eve, and I didn't want to take them to the vet unless I really, really had to. So I patched them, and both of them were completely recovered in 2 days, thankfully. We've patched dogs. We've had dogs. We had a boxer that had slipped on the kitchen floor after the kids gave it a bath. Not our dog boxer, but a client's boxer, and was paralyzed or couldn't use its back end at all. And for months, the dad was using a sling to carry this big boxer out to do its business. And dad had back pain. And so he was trying to get the family to agree to put the dog down. And so the wife, in an attempt to make the husband happy and not complain about his back, was going to patch the husband. And so one of my brand partners raised money to buy the dog its own X39 patches. And in less than 8 days, the dog was running around using its back end. So just amazing story. In fact, I think the 3rd day they were using the dad's old patches at first. And then they had to use them only during the day because he was wanting to get up in the middle of the night. So we started seeing changes really right away with him. But lots of animal stories. You know, this technology is amazing. And I would just approach your animals a lot like what you do humans. And put the patch on. Just put a patch on it and you might get a miracle.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is great. And I think we're going to open up to people
There's a
sharing.
question in the chat
Mhm.
about the four patches that you put on, Dr. Cashel.
Oh, yeah, that would have been X39, Eon, glutathione, and carnosine. So kind of hitting all 4, like the tissue healing with carnosine, the stem cell or master cell activation with X39, the anti-inflammatory effect of Eon, and then of course the glutathione. I use that one almost as an antibiotic. And so that's always my go-to for things like that.
Great.
Yeah,
Any-
people are asking, I know people ask this a lot. I just want to get this other one I just happened to see, how the patches stick on fur. Do you, like, sometimes with my dog, I actually put it, I do this a little bit so it doesn't stick too much, because
Yeah.
it does stick enough so that when I'm pulling it off, it won't pull too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you do if you
That's
have.
exactly what I would do. So when I patch my black gelding Truman, I take my X39 off my body, it's still warm, and put it onto him. And it sticks really well. In the winter, when they have a lot thicker coats, then I kind of slip it under his blanket, and the blanket kind of just holds it on. I've patched the inside of their halters. We had a mare that was kind of had a lot of attitude, and so we patched the top of her bridle, right at the top of the pole. I have a horse with back pain. We put the patches on his saddle pad. We put 2 sets of Ice Wave at the front and the back of the saddle pad, kind of on each side of the spine, so the withers and the croup. That way he doesn't have back pain while we're riding him. But they stick really well. If you think they stick too much, then you can, just like Linda showed, just tap it on your skin once or twice and then put it on. I don't feel like you need to shave them. I guess maybe if it was a long-haired animal, but as long as they're within, I say within an inch, I think technically speaking within 3 inches, as long as they're within an inch of the skin, they're going to work really well. So whether it's a piece of tack or a piece of clothing or a collar or a halter, or even a saddle pad, they work. In fact, I had a gentleman who was a roofer, and we're in Arizona. He sweat so much, he would sweat his patches off. And he had really bad back pain, and we tried everything. We tried tape, we tried everything. We ended up patching the inside of his tool belt, and that is what gave him fantastic relief. So every day he'd put his patches on his tool belt, and he'd put his tool belt on. And he was wearing clothing, as far as I know, underneath of the tool belt. So I think he was wearing, a tool belt, pants, underpants, a shirt tucked in, and through all of that, the patches worked just fine. He got great relief that way. So don't worry too much about, how to put them on.
Right.
Thank you so much. That's just great advice. I think that's a question that comes up a lot. So thank you for that.
Okay, so we're at the top of the hour. Let's see if there's one story or a question from the audience, and then we're going to say goodnight.
Anybody?
Lori?
Oops. I came in 2 minutes late, and I may have missed your comment. Is there any way this recording could be available? I have both a horsewoman and a dog community that really want this information, and they couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, Lori, we don't share the recording for compliance reasons, because the only patch, as Linda talked about earlier, that has been certified for animals and studied on animals is AccuLife, and we don't want to take any chances of, we're taking a chance already just having the call public. But why don't you just get a hold of me privately, Lori, and we might be able to talk about not the whole recording, but I try to sometimes do snippets of it.
Okay.
So you can reach me through the website, the Game Changer Team website, gamechangerteam.com. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to all my co-hosts and to all the vets and the wonderful stories, and for all of you, each one of you, for being here. And I just want to repeat something that I heard earlier in closing from Linda. Linda, I think you have such an eloquent way of expressing yourself that this just came off the top of your head, but it was so beautiful. I wrote it down and I hope I got it right. But she says, here at Vet Talk, we honor the silent wisdom of animals and the powerful brilliance of light. And I thought that was worth repeating every single week. And I also honor each of you for your ingenuity in finding this technology and for your dedication to your four-legged companions and being here to share with us and join our community. So we look forward to seeing you next month. We're here on the first Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 5 to 6 Pacific time. And the only time we're not here is if there's a holiday. Okay, so we'll see you
Wonderful,
next
all
time, I
these
hope.
wise words from wonderful women. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, not to count the men who are here, but we had a girls group tonight. All right.
We did.
Thank you,
Thank
Juliana. Thank you,
everyone. Thanks
Linda.
again.
Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Juliana.
All
Thank you,
the
Maggie.
doctors.
Thank you,
Yep.
Diane.
See you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye.